The Appalachian Mountains have served as a catalyst for the preservation and admiration of pre-colonial and early American history. The people and their practices have maintained a nostalgic view toward time-honored customs. This unique culture has allowed mainstream America to stereotype the people of the Appalachian region as ignorant racists and most of all expendable. The hills and mountains of central Appalachia are some of the wealthiest lands in America, not only because the people on the land are diverse and intellectual, but under the land are heavy seams of coal that power several energy plants throughout America. Energy companies have always used the people of Appalachia to harvest the coal while paying them ridiculously low wages. Dr. Chad Berry says that one of American history's greatest tragedies is that the poorest people in America live on the richest land. In the 1970s, energy companies enhanced their mining efforts to include the practice of mountaintop removal mining. Mountaintop removal involves ripping away 500 feet of a mountain's peak to allow easier access to coal seams. The processes to remove a mountain's top requires destructive techniques that give little to no consideration of the long-term repercussions of such careless methods of mining. All vegetation and topsoil is cleared away from the MTR site. Valuable timber resources are often discarded into valleys where they become one of the many layers of waste that pollute ecosystems and community water supplies. To access the seams of coal buried deep in the mountains that are actually closer to the ground than the top of the mountain, millions of pounds of explosives are used to blow 500 to 800 feet away from the mountain's tip. A dragline, a $100 million machine that displaces thousands of human jobs, extracts the debris and coal from the mountain. The waste from the mining operations, known as overburden, is dumped into nearby valleys. The spoil pollutes tributaries and groundwater and often damages all of the surrounding ecological systems. More waterways and ecosystems are irreversibly damaged by the effects of mountaintop removal in Appalachia than the Gulf oil spill of 2010. The coal is washed and treated before being trained off the mountain. The water used in this process becomes a sludge full of toxic chemicals, including arsenic, mercury, lead, copper, and chromium. It is often pumped into an unstable makeshift pond that often overflows following the first rainfall. The pollutants seep into the ground and add to the devastation caused by this disparaging practice. The environmental, economic, and social devastation that occurs as a result of MTR can never be repaired. The permanent damage has altered the landscape and the lifestyle of communities whose mountains have been ripped apart for small seams of coal. As I said earlier, the internal contents of the mountain contain high levels of arsenic, mercury, lead, copper, and chromium. These creeks, rivers, and streams run through central Appalachian cities, backyards, and into larger tributary rivers, including the Mississippi River, that are primary water sources for the eastern and middle United States. As the contents of the mountains are pushed into the valley, spring and summer rains saturate the ground, fill creeks, streams, and rivers, all eventually overflow, causing contaminated floodwaters to destroy homes and ravage communities. This flooding, along with the too frequent dam failure, has caused several slurry ponds containing the toxic water that was used to rinse coal before it was shipped off the MTR site to overflow. These slurry ponds sit upstream from homes, schools, and communities. The ponds have been known to cause the production of acid rain in the area, pollute the air with carcinogens, and if, or rather when, the slurry ponds break from the dams, or their contents seep into the ground, the effects on the micro-ecosystems, groundwater, soil, and vegetation cannot even be measured with modern means. And despite the lie propagated by wealthy energy company executives, mountaintop removal is of no economic benefit to Appalachia or its residents. Actually, energy companies should consider alternative energy methods including wind energy. A wind energy audit of MTR sites shows that the tops of mountains leveled by MTR would be perfect locations for wind turbines. Wind energy is a sustainable source of power that would produce more annual and cumulative millions of kilowatts of power than coal has produced in 96 years of use. Wind energy will also provide more jobs per year, and those jobs will endure longer than the temporary positions created by mountaintop removal mining. What do we do about this travesty? As a proud Appalachian who recognizes the interdependence of coal in communities in central Appalachia, including eastern Kentucky, southwest Virginia, and southern West Virginia, I recognize that there is no easy answer to this problem. But the overwhelming destruction and the copious adverse effects caused by mountaintop removal mining causes me to say there is only one honest and beneficial choice for Appalachia and America, and that is to end this practice. Coal can be mined in safer ways. The enormous amounts of money poured into Appalachia by the federal government by way of the Appalachian Regional Commission can be used to procure better industries, and wind energy turbines can dot the MTR removal sites of the region in order to provide new jobs for Appalachians and a new way of energy for America. While the harmful effects of mountaintop removal can never be undone, and the mountains can never be rebuilt or properly reclaimed, our generation can make a promise to stop destroying these geographic and cultural icons. Either that, or Appalachia the place, and Appalachia the people, may not survive.